Good morning, students. Let's start the new chapter of our book Flamingo, The Rat Trap. First of all, I would like to tell you about the author. The story Rat Trap has been written by a famous Swedish author, Selma Lagerlöf. She was a very famous Swedish author, students, and I would like to tell you that her short stories have been translated into many languages of the world. The main thing about her short stories was that most of them contained the same theme. And the theme was the essential goodness of a human being can be awakened by understanding and love. Let me repeat. The essential goodness in a human being can be awakened through understanding and love. Students, it's a very important point to ponder about because this is going to be the base of our story. Yes. Now let me start you. Let me start the story. The story Rat Trap has a main character who has been called as Peddler. Peddler is a person who moves from one place to another selling something. Here, the main character of the story is a peddler. What he did, he used to sell rat traps. How he used to make the rat traps? He used to make the rat traps by begging for the material from farms or from mills. And he was leading a very miserable existence, a very miserable life, a very pathetic life. Why? Because his business of selling rat trap was not profitable at all. He hardly earned money to survive. So the point is, how was he surviving? How was he able to keep his body and soul together? The answer of it is, he did certain other things also. I would like to tell you, he used to beg whenever he would get chance. And he would go for petty thievery, small thefts. Yes, he never hesitated to steal from here and there whenever he would get chance. So these things, these two other things were also done by him in order to survive. In this way, he was leading a very pathetic life. He did not have a permanent source of income. He hardly got food, sufficient food to eat. He did not have any house to live. He wandered and wandered. Wherever he would go, people simply would discard him, reject him. No one would like to talk to him. So this type of life he was leading. Now it so happened that one day, when he was sitting free, most of the time he was sitting free, so suddenly he fell into a line of thinking. And he started comparing this world to the rat trap. How? He started thinking that just like a rat trap offers cheese, pork, piece of bread, etc. as a bait for rats. Similarly, this whole world with riches, love, beautiful clothing, and so many beautiful material things attract human beings. Just like the rats are attracted by piece of bread or cheese or pork, go for them and they are caught in the rat trap. Similarly, human beings also get attracted by so many worldly things. They go after them and they are caught. You can you can very easily understand. For example, a very beautiful set of mobile phone, a beautiful dress. Sometimes we are attracted towards them. We try to achieve them. We get them. But as soon as we get, we receive, we start thinking about another one. We are never satisfied. We are always dissatisfied with our possessions. And it is the rat trap in which most of us are actually caught. It was a winter time, and one day it got evening, it was getting darker and darker, and he was thinking what to do, where to stay for the night. So suddenly what happened? He saw a cottage by the roadside. Of course, he was not sure what would happen when he knocked, but despite that, he went there and knocked at the door. The door was opened by an old man. The writer has termed him as crofter. That old man earlier used to work in some iron mill as a laborer, but now living in that small cottage. We shall tell you about him a little later. So what the peddler did, he knocked at the door of the cottage. The crofter opened it. The peddler asked his permission to stay for the night. And quite surprisingly, the crofter permitted him. The crofter permitted him because earlier whenever he asked any person to stay with him in his house, what happened? He was rejected. People never liked his company. Who would like the company of a miserable person? For example, suppose a beggar comes to your house and asks your permission to stay in your house for a night. Will you permit him? Of course, you will not permit. It happens. Crofter not only let him be in his cottage for the night, but he gave him porridge to eat. He offered him tobacco to light his cigarette, and both of them played the game of card too. You know why the crofter was doing all these things, why he was so open, why he was so generous? One reason was his own personal life. That person, crofter, was actually without wife and children. He was also leading a very lonely life. So he also became very happy to get someone to talk to and share his feelings, emotions, etc. During their conversation, the crofter told the peddler that now he has got very old. He cannot do physical work much. So what he is doing, he is keeping a cow. And he sells the milk of that cow to certain places. And by selling the milk of his cow, he earned as many as 30 kroners yesterday. 30 kroner is a Swedish currency. In Indian terms, you can say 30 rupees. When crofter told the peddler that he earned 30 kroners by selling the milk of his cow, peddler seemed not to believe. You know why? Because he was also a very old and you can say poor looking person, and he did not believe that such a person could possess 30 kroners. 30 kroners long back used to be a very big amount, just like in our countries. You can say in 60s or 50s, 30 rupees was a very big amount. So when the peddler seemed not to believe him, but the crofter did, he went to the window. On On the window was hung a leather pouch. He took that, he put his hand inside, took three notes of 10 kroners each, three wrinkled notes of 10 kroners each, and showed him to the peddler. Peddler was also surprised. Then he put the money back. After that, both of them slept. Now, early in the morning, the crofter had to go to milk his cow. The peddler thanked him, and both of them went their way. But after some time, the peddler was back. You could see the peddler standing before the cottage of the crofter. He took a piece of stone and smashed the window pane. Okay, put his hand inside, took the money, kept it in his pocket, and ran away. And he was feeling himself very smart. How smart he was. No, he was concerned. He was concerned that it is not okay to take the public highway because he could be caught. So he took the way through the forest. He entered into the forest, took one way, second way, another, third way, went on moving this part or that part of the forest, and ultimately he realized that he was actually moving around the same area. And then he thought very soon it would be dark, animals would come out, and perhaps any animal might kill him. Now he was thinking that he was also caught in the rat trap of the world. Before that he was exempted from that, but now not. He sat there, kept his head on the ground, and he knew that his end was near. But suddenly he heard a thumping sound, as if the iron was being beaten. He got some hope. He started moving into that direction from where the sound was coming. And nearby there was an iron factory. He moved inside, and there were only two persons who were working there, the master blacksmith and his apprentice, a person who worked under him. He asked the master blacksmith permission to stay there for the night, and his permission was granted. So near the furnace he slept. Now the second important character of the story enters, and that person is, my dear students, Iron Master. The Iron Master is the owner of that iron factory. He used to take nightly rounds in order to see whether the work in the factory is going on well or not. Because it was his ambition to supply the best quality of iron into the market. And that was possible only if the work in the factory goes well. So when he enters, he sees that a person, a newcomer, or you can say a stranger, is lying there. He goes there because that peddler was sleeping, keeping his head over his or on his face. Iron Master goes there and removes his hat. And when he sees him, he is surprised. In the dim light of the iron factory, the Iron Master is not able to see his face properly, and he commits a mistake. He feels that the peddler was his old regimental comrade. Iron Master used to work in the army, and he committed a mistake considering the peddler as his old regimental comrade named Niels Olf. Niels Olf. And he calls him by that name, and he asks about his miserable condition. He asks him why he left the army so early, and he asks him to go to his house, to come to his house. It was Christmas just after 2 days, and he was feeling very happy to find someone like him as Christmas guest. The peddler would have gone to Ironmaster's house very easily, but the point was that he was keeping 30 stolen kroners in his pocket. And he knew that entering into the Ironmaster's house was just like entering into the lion's den. Entering into the lion's den. So he said, sorry, sir, sorry, I can't come to your house. Ironmaster appealed again and again, but the peddler did not agree to accompany him to his house. Ironmaster did not say anything and he left. But very soon the third but the most important character of the family enters, and she is none other than the daughter of Ironmaster, Adla. The daughter of Ironmaster, Adla Wilmanson. Since Ironmaster did not succeed in his attempt to take Peddler into his house, now what he thought? He thought that perhaps his daughter may do the task for him. According to him, the women have better power of persuasion. Now Adla comes to him and she appeals to him to go to their house for Christmas. It was his father as well as her desire to have him as their Christmas guest. But the peddler was feeling highly concerned, and seeing him, Adla thought that either that person had stolen something or he had escaped from jail. Because he was a very shrewd judge of character. But Adla ensured him that he would be allowed to leave their house as freely as he would enter. I repeat, Adla ensured him that he would be allowed to leave their house as freely as he would enter. The peddler agreed. He went with Adla to their house. The next morning, the valet bathed him, gave him the new clothes of Ironmaster, shaved him, or you can say groomed him, and both Ironmaster and Adla were waiting for him at the dining table. But when he reached there, and when the Ironmaster saw him in the broad daylight, then he realized his mistake, that he had actually selected the wrong person. He was not his old regimental comrade. Ironmaster became very angry and he asked him to leave their house as early as possible. The peddler said, "Sir, you invited me. When I refused, you sent your daughter. I am not at fault. I never wanted to enter your house. But nothing bad has taken place. No bad has taken place. No wrong has taken place. I have not committed anything with you or with your family. I have not done anything wrong. If the worst comes to worst, I can put on my rags and leave your house." At this point, Adla interfered and she appealed to her father that actually they themselves invited him. A little while ago, they were feeling very happy that they have got somebody to be their guest on Christmas. If they ask him to go like that, it would not only be insulting to him but to them as well. If they are able to give that person a day of relief, a day of comfort, and it is not going to be harmful either to them or to him. Iron Master surrendered before the wish of his daughter. They let him remain there. Throughout the day, the peddler did only one thing: eat and sleep. Eat and sleep. So perhaps for a long time he had not got such a sound sleep. The next day it was Christmas. The Iron Master and Adla got up early and went to the church for early church service, early prayers. But when they came back, Adla was feeling very dejected. Her head was falling dejectedly because at church they came to know that one old crofter who used to work in the iron factory had been robbed by a person selling rat traps. By that time the news was out. Now it was the turn of the Iron Master to say a few words to Adla. Now, you yourself recommended him. I wanted him to be out of the house, but you did not agree. Like that. No one knows how many things he must have stolen from their house by now. When they reached the house, they asked the servants where the person was, and they said that he was gone. Then Iron Master asked another question whether he had taken something with him. The servant said that no, he did not take anything. Rather, he had left something to be given to Adla. And when Adla saw that particular gift left by the peddler, it was wrapped into a paper. And she saw that when she opened that particular, when she unwrapped that, there was a rat trap. Inside the rat traps were 3 10 kroner wrinkled notes and a letter. And in the letter, the peddler asked Adla that she behaved or she considered him as an army man. He was treated as an army man in their house. So therefore he is also raising his character up to the level of an army man and is returning that money to be given back to that old crofter. Clear? And then he signs himself as Captain Von Stale. As Captain Von Stale. So students, what I mean to, what actually the story tells, let's come back to the theme. The essential goodness in a human being can be awakened through understanding and love. I need not tell whose goodness came out and how that goodness came out. It came out through understanding and love, which were provided to him by the kind and true behavior of Adla. Thank you very much.